Good morning.
We're going to go again?
No. And you know what the funny part about it was? I clicked it, right? Twice.
Right.
I clicked it again. And then I'm going through, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. And then like 3/4 of the way saying, wait a minute, I could stop it at any time. I was like, forget it. I'm going to let it go through.
I thought that was the quickest interview ever. Pop
It
up,
was
2
in and
seconds.
out and that was done, right?
I'm done. Going back to bed.
Oh my God. Well, good morning, Joe. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Susana?
Good. You look a little cold.
I am cold. Got my heater right here.
I know. I can see
Literally
that.
a foot from my face.
What's the temperature down there?
I think about 37 below zero. 48.
48?
Yep.
48 up here. I think right now we'd be wearing shorts. But again, it's what your body's acclimated to. So yeah, definitely. That's cold for you guys. Definitely cold.
It's very cold for me. I hate it. Cold weather just pisses me off.
Just pisses you off. How's Renee?
She's doing good. She's in bed. She's in the chat.
She is.
Her and the dogs are staying warm under the covers.
Nice. All right. Let's say good morning.
Took her a muffin this morning.
What is it?
I took her a muffin this morning, made her breakfast in bed.
Aw. That is so sweet. So sweet.
She told me to get it for her.
But you would have got it anyway, so yeah. All right, let's say good morning to some people. We have Darlene. Good morning, Darlene. I hope you're well, honey. Mwah.
Good morning.
Good morning. And then we got Bonnie. Good morning, our beautiful soul, Bonnie. Mwah, my dear. And Annie Oakley. My Annie Oakley is here. Good morning. Mwah. Good morning, honey. And then let's see who else. And we have Renee. Hey, Renee.
Hey,
are you nice and snuggly under those covers? We're jealous, I think. You're jealous? You could have did the interview from bed.
Then the dogs would have been all...
Let's see who else is here. Darlene and Bonnie. Enville, good morning, beautiful Enville. Mwah, good morning, honey. How you doing? And Enville. And we have Cameo. Good morning, Cameo. Mwah, good morning. And who else? Stitch It. Pam's here. Good morning, Pam. Good morning, dear. How are you? And Scarlett. Hello, Scarlett. How's the weather out there? Across the pond.
Renee says she's got 5 dogs in the bed with her right now.
5 dogs?
All keeping her warm.
Are they all females or males or mixed?
1 female, the rest males.
Oh, she's got 1 bitch with her?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
Got a lot of wieners.
A lot of wieners. Aren't you jealous of all those wieners? Oh, no. My God.
I know where my place is. Right behind about the 3rd dog.
Oh, my God. So we're just waiting for a couple more people to come in, and then we're going to go ahead and just kind of like dive right into it. So what else is going on?
Oh, not much.
No? I've seen you guys put a lot of videos out. That's for sure.
That's all Renee. She does.
That's all Renee.
She does all the editing and all that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
I just film my little what solds and send them to her, and she makes the magic happen.
She's going to be my upcoming next Friday. I'm interviewing her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
That's going to be amazing. That's going to be amazing as well. I have very, very, very good lineup. I have an amazing lineup. Yeah. it's coming into place, and totally thrilled and excited.
Who
Totally.
else you got?
I have you. I
Mhm.
have Renee.
Mhm.
After Renee, I have Harley Handler.
Okay.
And then I have Chris the Goose.
Oh, the goose.
The Goose, yeah.
The goose is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah,
Harley.
super nice guy. We got to meet him down in Florida.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that. Well, I didn't go there, but I remember watching you guys. So
Missed out.
as much as I heard, yeah. I definitely want to meet you guys. Definitely. But you're going to have to come up here.
You don't know how to drive?
I do know how to drive, but I don't like to drive.
Hop on a plane.
True. True.
We'll pick you up from the airport.
Right? If I'm getting Goose, I need to get Kimmy.
Ah, there you go.
Wow. I can definitely write that down. I like that. That's a good idea. Kimmy. So you guys would like to hear from Kimmy? Anyone else? So let me ask you before we get started, who would you like to see me interview?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. Let's see. Just looking at the chat. Toilet girl.
Toilet girl.
Scarlet, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, because you know what? It's the people that are in the chat. That's why I wanted Harley to come on, because we see them in the chat all the time, but we don't know of them. Do you know what I mean? We don't know them. We only see what they write, and they're buyers. And people that are on camera, you kind of know the gist of it and this and that. But it's the people that are in the chat that I'm really, I am really curious about.
Hey, Mr. Picky. There you go, Mr. Picky.
Mr. Picky.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And we have Jay here. Good morning, Jay. How are you?
Papa Smurf.
Who else came in? And we got John. Good morning, John. Good morning. Anyone else pop in? Bonnie, Mr. Picky. All right. So let's go ahead.
If you want the real skinny, interview Colin and tell the parents to leave the room.
Oh. Yeah, no kids. No kids. No kids. Just make sure that everybody is blue. If you're not blue, write it in the chat and I will turn you blue. But we have everyone here. So, Joe.
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you born?
I was born in Gainesville, Florida, in a hospital that no longer exists.
So you were born in Florida. Have you lived your life, the whole life in Florida?
Pretty much. Did a lot of traveling when I was growing up because my dad was an electrician that worked on nuclear power plants. So I traveled with him when he traveled to do his different stuff when I was younger.
Oh, cool.
But that was always temporary, living in a travel trailer or motorhome, sometimes hotels.
So did you go to grade school and stuff? In school itself, did you go? It was in Florida, not to these other places.
Yeah, all of my schooling was in Florida.
Okay.
I traveled. I went to a bunch of different elementary schools, but they were all in Florida.
All in Florida.
Because I went to the one here that is in the town where I grew up and I'm from, and then I also went to an elementary school in Crystal River, which is over on the Gulf Coast.
Okay.
And I went to 2 elementary schools in Miami. One of them I went there for one day, and they did not speak any English in the class, so I just sat there. It was a public school.
Oh, wow.
I pretty much just sat there all day, and just whenever all the kids would get up and go somewhere, I just got up and followed.
So was
And
it a bilingual class?
oh no, it was all Spanish. I mean, the teacher knew English, but
Uh-huh.
not very well. So the next day, my mom put me in a Catholic school, which I'm not
Hmm.
Catholic, but put me in a Catholic school, and I was there for a couple of months, and then my dad's job ended, and we came back up to here. So
Oh, wow. That must have been terrifying that day. Like, oh my God, I can imagine you as a kid thinking, what am I doing here?
I just sat there.
You just sat there.
Yeah.
Now, were you a quiet kid?
Um, Up until about middle school, I was pretty quiet and reserved, and then
Were you shy?
yeah, I would say I was. My About middle school is when I really started getting into baseball,
Hmm.
and that kind of brought me out of my shell, I think.
Oh, nice.
And then the girls and all that stuff. So
Uh-huh.
that's
And then
what,
you went into high school. And how
right.
were you in high? Did you play baseball in high school?
I played baseball. I played baseball from the time I was 6 until I was in my 20s.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
a lot of times on 3 different teams at a time. I played year round. Um, I was the school I went to was a really small school. My graduating class was only like 63 people.
Oh, my goodness.
And but I was the first person to play varsity baseball as a starter in the 8th grade for the high school.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun.
And what position did you play?
90% of the time, I was a catcher.
You were the catcher.
Yeah, every now and then I would play third base or I would play second base, but
Okay.
I
Now,
was
does baseball still have a huge role in your life now?
mm, not really. I mean, I enjoy watching it when I see it on TV or
Hmm.
at the college that I work at. We have a baseball team, actually a pretty good baseball team.
Hmm.
So if I'm working and they're playing a game, I'll go out and hang out and watch them play and stuff like that. But
So you never did like coaching for smaller teams, little league, or
um,
anything like that?
I did a little bit of assistant coaching when I was a teenager.
Hmm.
My uncle was a big coach, and so I would help him out. I did. I did become an umpire when I was a teenager and
Hmm.
umpired little league games and stuff like that. But I I was playing a lot. I mean, playing on 3 teams at a time, you don't have much spare time for anything else.
Wow. So, when you graduated high school, what did you do after graduation?
Um, I went to work for the Gainesville Sun, which is a newspaper here,
Uh-huh.
and worked there um, about 12 or 13 years. And that's where I met Renee at.
What did you do there?
I was a cameraman, not a photographer, but a cameraman.
And
So
what's the difference?
the photographers take the pictures that go in the paper. The
Hmm.
cameraman, they have these cameras. This is the old way of making a newspaper. It's all digital now. But back in the day, they had these cameras that were about the size of a pickup truck. And when the newsroom would take all of the stories and ads and everything that was going to be on a page of paper, it was all pasted and cut and pasted onto a big grid the size
Yeah.
of the paper. Well, I had to take a picture of that and make sure everything was good on it, develop the film, And then I would give that to the press room, and the press room would take that negative that I made and put it onto a light sensitive plate and burn the image of that negative onto that plate. And that plate's what actually went on the press to
Wow.
print the paper.
Huh. Now, did you ever go to college?
Not until I went to the police academy.
Okay. And
So
how old were you when you went to the police academy?
I was in my 30s.
You were in your 30s. And what drove you to that?
Unemployment.
Unemployment.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Okay.
I've always wanted to do something like that. I was a volunteer firefighter for a long time, like when I
Hmm.
was working at the paper. Um, and I enjoy public service. I like helping people, but um, I always kind of like in the back of my mind wanted to be a police officer or give it a try.
Yeah.
And the circumstances came up where I didn't have a job. I had gotten laid off because the economy had crashed. And me and Renee talked about it and figured it was probably about my last shot. So I went to the police academy. I was the second oldest person in my academy class, um, only behind one other guy. His name was John. He is uh, he's a doctor, an emergency room physician. Bless you.
Thank you.
He's an emergency room physician at the big University of Florida hospital here, Shands.
Okay.
And he went through the academy because he's the SWAT team medic for the city and county departments.
Oh, wow.
So, in order for him to go in with a firearm into these buildings with the SWAT team,
Yeah.
he had to go through the academy to be able to carry a firearm in the buildings. So,
So cool. That's cool. Now
so we,
you
we
had
had the
such
geriatric table. So,
a what?
me and him sat at the front table. They called us the geriatric table because we were the two oldest in the class. By like the third oldest in the class was like 10 years younger than me. So,
Oh, wow. And how did you feel being in that class with all these younger people? Did you
uh,
feel like were
it
you
wasn't,
nervous or
no, it wasn't bad. I mean, we all got along really well and stuff. A lot of times people, for the most part, people that are going to become police officers, they're all very kind of like-minded in that area.
Mhm.
So it's pretty easy to get along with them. Um,
Okay.
it wasn't too bad. I mean, there was sometimes that me and John were like, "Oh my God, we're gonna die," and then there was things that through us having the life experiences and stuff, we were able to shine way above the
Okay.
whole rest of the class.
Yeah.
So,
Now, do you wish you had done that sooner in age?
um, no, I don't think so.
No.
Especially now, seeing a lot of at our department, I'm one of the biggest trainers.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm the most senior FTO, which is a field training officer, trains all the new hires.
Mhm.
I'm the firearms instructor. I'm a taser instructor, driving instructor, um, all kinds of classes
Mhm.
that I
That's
teach.
awesome.
And so I deal a lot with all the new hires. And it really seems to me that the new hires that come in this is their first police job and they are in their late 20s to 30s or even older, they pick it up faster. They seem to be more level-headed and
Mhm.
stuff like that. The younger ones are all gung-ho and thinking it's going to be like it is on TV, and
Yeah.
it's it's nothing like NYPD Blue, or it's not even like Cops.
Yeah.
Even though they're really filming cops,
Uh-huh.
They only show the 5 minutes of fun stuff. They don't show the other 3 hours of paperwork and
Mm-hmm.
sitting in your car under a tree looking over your shoulder while trying to do a report, fighting with your sketchy internet that you got in a car and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So,
So let's go back a little bit. You
okay.
said that you had met Renee while you were working at the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
And how old were you then?
I don't know. 29, maybe 28. I don't know.
No.
You have to ask Renee.
Were you married before Renee or?
I was. I had a wife that um, we got married pretty much right out of high school.
Uh-huh.
Married for a few years. Didn't have any kids or anything like that, and just too young to be married. And
Too young to be married.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
So in that marriage, what what did you learn from that marriage that
Renee says I was 29.
Renee? She's here. I love it. So,
I
okay,
don't,
so
I don't know what I learned from that marriage, really. I learned that marriage is more of a commitment than I thought it was back then.
mhm,
Um, Other than that, I was just young and
young.
ridiculous. So
So how was your childhood growing up with your parents?
mm, not great. My parents divorced when I was about 13, 12, 13,
Okay.
14, somewhere in there. I'm really bad with dates and times, but um, and my dad has remarried. He's remarried two more times.
Mhm.
My mom remarried not long after they got divorced. I still don't get along with her husband.
Okay.
Um, and I kind of had to live with my mom because my dad was traveling
Mhm.
for work. Um, and he was my my mom's husband, stepdad, I guess, he was there also, and it wasn't a very good thing. So I left. Um, I lived with my grandma a lot, and then at about um, sometime between 16 and 17, me and some other friends. It's not me.
I don't know how to shut it off on the computer. My phone's off, but I don't know how to shut it off on the computer. That's the thing. I'm sorry.
Just throw it out the window.
Right?
Put it on the fire escape that you can't get to.
Okay,
Um,
so I am truly sorry about that,
no, it's
everyone.
fine. So, sometime between like 16 and 17, me and a few of other friends wound up renting a house and moving out and
Okay.
kind of started doing our own thing. And
So how did that make you feel like towards your mom? Did you feel
um,
any kind of sort of way or
yeah, me and her do not have a very good relationship. So,
since was it because since she divorced your dad and married this man?
yeah, it was a lot of that. She just like I was at an age that I could stay home by myself and kind of take care of myself. So, and I have family that lives all around right here. I live on the property now that I grew up on.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and then my grandmother lived right behind me. I had an aunt that lived right next door to me, stuff like that. So I was left to kind of fend for myself, I guess, a lot.
Do you have siblings?
No, I'm an only child.
You're an only child.
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
she, my mom pretty much kind of chose him over me, I guess, in my view. So, and it's pretty much stayed that way. I mean,
Does she live clear? Does she live close by?
yeah, about 10 minutes down the road.
Do you ever go see her or no?
No, I get a text on birthday, Christmas, sometimes New Year's, I guess. But,
Now, is your dad still alive?
yep, my dad lives on the property right behind us where my grandmother used to live.
And you have a close relationship with him?
Mm, not very close. I mean, we talk and see each other,
Mhm.
but it's it's kind of rough. But we get along, and
Okay.
most of the time.
Do you think that would you like it to be different?
No, of course, I'd love to have great relationships with both of my parents, but
Do you think that that can be achieved?
um, probably not to a huge level. Um, Mom's pretty much set in her ways, I guess, and dad is very stubborn. So
So it's a point that you think that they can't change then if you were to sit down.
no.
No. Okay. All right. So
I mean, I've had sit down talks with my dad and stuff, and it he's one of those people that it's kind of like he has his idea of how something should go, and you're not going to change it.
you're not going to
So
change it. So Renee has children. Do you have any children?
just the two with Renee,
Just the
but they're
two.
they're not my biological, but they're my kids. I mean,
They're your
I've had
kids.
I've had them since they were 4 and 6.
Oh, wow. I love to hear that. They're not my biological, but they're my kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Now, do they call you dad?
No,
No.
they did a few times when they were younger, but it's that's a hard thing to. Um, I think that's a hard thing to ask of a kid
Oh,
because when you come into the relationship, you're coming in when you're first introduced to the kids, you're introduced as a friend,
mm-hmm.
and then you become the boyfriend. So they're calling you Joe, 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 through the friend, through the boyfriend, through the engagement, all that. Then you get married and you automatically want them to start calling you dad, or it's just,
No, I get it.
I mean, they feel like or I feel like they know that I'll do anything for them, but they have a dad.
Mm-hmm.
They have a biological dad, not much of a father, but a dad, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and calling me Joe or dad or whatever, it's just a word to get my attention to be able to help them. So,
So you don't need that title because
no,
you know in your heart you have that title.
right. I mean, it's the same as, to me, as like being a police officer. If I am dealing with somebody in some sort of situation, no matter if they're a criminal or a victim or whatever, and they
Mhm.
start calling me officer, I'm like, no, my name's Joe. And call me Joe. That's who I am. I'm a person.
That's right.
So
I get it. I get it. Joe, what is your favorite thing to do alone?
Hmm. Sleep. I don't. Um. Probably listen to podcasts
Really?
or metal detect. That's my.
Do you metal detect?
I
Do you do
do.
that?
I haven't done it in a little bit, but that's something that I enjoy. So
Would you consider that your hobby?
yeah.
Nice. Have you found anything like, oh my God?
Um. Probably not. Oh my God, to other people, but to me, yes. I mean, I've like I like history. I like American history, Civil
Mhm.
War era type stuff,
Right.
American Revolution, all that. So
Uh-huh.
one time I found a Civil War uniform coat button. So that's like
Wow.
an amazing find to me.
Yeah.
It's worth like $2. You
Uh-huh.
can buy them at the flea market or all over the place. You can get them off the internet or whatever. But to for me to go out, search in a field, and get a signal, dig it up, and it's a button off of a coat uniform,
Yeah.
a uniform coat from the Civil War that a soldier wore and lost there 140 years ago now.
I know.
And I'm the first person to pick it up and touch it and look at it
Yep.
since then. That's what's cool about it.
Exactly. I was just thinking of that. Yeah, that's everything. Like you're the first person that's holding it
Mm-hmm,
and the history behind it,
mm-hmm.
that's so cool. So, so cool. Wow. Do you ever do it on the beach?
Yeah, it sucks. The only thing you ever find on the beach is AA batteries and Corona bottle lids. I mean, I don't the a lot of the beaches down here, they at night they run a rake over them just
Mhm.
to try to pick up the a little bit of trash and stuff like that to keep it from getting out into the ocean. So you don't find a lot. And hunting on the beach is it's hard. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there. Um, South Florida on the Atlantic side,
Mhm.
there's they call that the treasure coast
Okay.
because there's a lot of galleon ships and stuff like that sunk off the coast out there, and every now and then old gold coins and silver coins and stuff like that will wash up, especially after a hurricane and stuff like that. You'll
Yeah.
see hundreds of detectorists out there looking for that stuff. But
Wow.
I think it's easier to find stuff to do research and just drive around these old towns and find the old houses and go knock on the doors and tell them what you do and why you do it. And
Mhm.
a lot of times they'll, hey, go have at it. Don't leave holes in my yard type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I would assume that. Now, are you a person that likes to travel?
Yeah, I like to travel. I like to drive. I'm not a huge. I don't mind flying. I just like when I'm driving. I like to be able to see the sights. I like seeing the landscape of the country, seeing the old houses and the old farms and old buildings and architecture and all that kind of stuff. So
You're definitely a history buff. I can see that. And I gathered that you love meeting people.
I do like meeting people.
And
I'm
why do you think you love meeting new people?
mm, so I find people interesting.
Mhm.
Everybody has a story to tell, I guess. Um, People love talking about themselves, so
Mhm.
I like to listen. You can learn a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish I would have listen to some of the old people in my life when I was younger more.
Yeah.
I mean, now I tell you, I can tell our kids, hey, I know what I know what I'm talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, nah, whatever. But then you get to this age, and you're like, yeah, they knew what they were talking about. So,
Right, right. What is your earliest childhood memory?
my earliest, I have a few, um, and they're just like little photographs in my mind, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were all at my grandma and grandpa's house. They lived on a lake. Um, when I was first born, my parents actually lived on the front of that property on that lake.
Mm-hmm.
We moved to this property probably before I was 1 or 2. So we spent a lot of time out there because it was on a lake. We're in Florida. They had an orange grove, all that kind of stuff. So I remember fishing on the dock there, um, learning to swim, learning to drive a boat. Um, I remember uh, sitting. My grandfather had these big rocks that he had brought back from West Virginia, and he made a circle around a flower bed with them. And I remember sitting on those rocks with him and watching the sunset over the lake and stuff. Um, and I had this little yellow pedal car that I remember riding around on his carport driveway. So those are probably my earliest memories.
And why do you think you remember that?
They were good times, good days. So you kind of store them away.
Were you close to your grandfather then?
Yeah, I was very close to my grandfather. He passed away when I was about 7. So, but he taught me a lot. I hung out with him a lot. And,
Who has made the biggest impact in your life thus far?
um, probably my grandmother was the biggest impact.
Why?
Well, she took me in a lot when I had troubles. She helped me buy my first car. Um, there was always a place I could go to get a hot meal. So,
She
and
show you love.
yeah, I mean, she took me to church when I was a kid and all that stuff. So,
And how old were you when she passed?
all right, Renee, how old? In my 30s. And
You were in your 30s.
me and Renee were married when she passed.
And she had stayed in your life the whole time then.
Uh, yeah, for the most part. The last years of her life, she went through dementia and Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
and so she spent a lot of time at my aunt's house. They took her in and took care of her. So, and then we lived on the other side of the county, so I didn't spend too much time with her then.
Mm-hmm.
Renee says 32. I was 32 when she passed.
She was 32.
Um, so didn't spend a whole lot of time. I didn't like seeing her that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Tell me about your hopes and your dreams.
my hopes and dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You told me I couldn't talk about YouTube and reselling.
If that's what you want, then go ahead. If that's one of your hopes and your dreams, absolutely.
Well,
I just didn't want to talk about, you know what I mean, like the nitty gritty. But if that's
we would. Renee and I are both hoping to grow our reselling business to a point that it'll completely sustain our life. So this late in life, you can't have too many hopes and dreams. You just got to focus in on one and make it great. You have too many, you start to lose. They start to lose their meaning. So
Mm-hmm. So what do you want to get out of it? It's, I guess what you just said, that you just answered it. It's about sustaining your life,
yeah.
you know, your lives.
Mm-hmm.
So what brings you the most joy in your life?
Um, just hanging out with Renee. I think when we get time to actually go and do stuff that we enjoy together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's my happy times. That's what I work for.
What is giving you the biggest adrenaline rush?
Mm, probably traffic stops as a police officer when you wind up having to pull your gun on somebody and
Ooh.
you have your finger on the trigger and you know that in a millisecond everything could change. I mean, you could be right there at that point of, hey, I just had to take this guy's life or he took mine. I mean, so
Yeah.
that's that's a big adrenaline dump. Um, so
I-
that's probably one of my that's probably my biggest adrenaline dumps is when that happens.
Is there anything that you're afraid of?
Mm, I don't think so.
No.
I mean, there's stuff I'm cautious of, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'm really afraid of anything.
So are you the type of person that if you see the fear or you feel fear, that you kind of battle through it?
Yeah,
You don't shy away from that.
no, and you can't. And I mean, I was a volunteer firefighter for a while, and now I'm a police officer, and you can't shy away from that fear. You've got to learn how to, I guess, mutate that fear into a desire to go, um, because you can't back down sometimes. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can. Sometimes that's the smart move is to back down,
Uh-huh.
but you've got to know you've got to be able to calculate it
Right.
and know if, hey, is it the smart move or is it me being scared to back down?
Okay.
And if it's me being scared but it's not the smart move, then you've got to take that scaredness and swallow it somewhere and go. I mean, because especially in a job like as a police officer, because your partner's life depends on you. I mean, I depend, my life depends on him and his depends on me or her. So,
Has there been a moment that you were actually really, really scared in your job as a police officer, and that you can think of one specific?
scared, no. There's been plenty of moments where it could have gone really bad really quick,
Mm-hmm.
or there's been moments where it's started to go bad, and through my training and experience, I was able to manipulate the situation to make it to turn it around.
Okay.
Um, so never really scared. I don't. I feel like if you're I don't think you can be scared and be a police officer.
So
Um,
let me, I want to know on a lighter side, have you ever stopped a woman and to get out of a ticket? What is the one thing that you think you just let them go? You know, if they cried or gave you a sob story, anything?
no, I have very strict rules when I stop people when I'm doing traffic. Um, that way, no attorney defending somebody that I stop can go back and pull all of my traffic stops and say, "Hey, uh, I noticed that you gave my client a ticket, but you pulled over these. My client is a black male, and you gave him a ticket, but you pulled over these 27 white females, and you didn't give any of them a ticket. It doesn't matter to me, race, religion, sex. It doesn't matter. I have rules of the violations. If you're doing 5 to 10 miles an hour over, you're going to get a verbal warning. If you're doing 10 to 15 miles an hour over, you're going to get a written warning. If you're doing more than 15 miles an hour over the speed limit, I'm going to write you a ticket. It doesn't matter what you look like, what your story is. It is what it is. Um, I do write. I do always try to find a lesser ticket. If I pull you over for speeding and you can't produce me your insurance card, I'll write you that ticket instead of the speeding ticket because it's only a $10 ticket.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a $109 ticket, but it's only $10 if you get your insurance card, you take it to the courthouse with the ticket and show it to them within 30 days. Within 30 days. So then um, it's fixing the problem because
Yeah.
now they have the insurance card, so now they're going to put it in their car, and it's going to be there the next time they either get in a crash, get pulled over, or need it for some other
Mm-hmm.
reason. And where I work at a college, so 90% of the people that I pull over are college students. Of of all those people, probably 30 to 40% of the time, I'm their first I'm their first stop or their first interaction with a police officer. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to start it out good. Um, I don't want to give them a bad taste in their mouth of what police officers are right
Sounds
off
like you're
the
very level-headed.
bat. And we also work at working at a college. It's an educational institution.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel as an employee of the college, even though I'm a police officer, I'm still kind of responsible for educating these kids.
Absolutely.
They're fresh into life. They don't know a lot of stuff about
Mm-hmm.
the rules of driving and safety and the reasons why speed limits are what they are, why people wear seatbelts, why there's no texting and driving, why all these things are, why they're laws, why we stop people and give them tickets for it.
Mm-hmm.
If I
So
can if I can educate them and change the behavior, I think that's better than even giving a ticket. So
So, on a lighter note, and I just saw it in the chat too, because I was thinking about it and I'm going to bring it funny. What's the best story we can tell a police officer to get out of a ticket?
hmm, that's all based on the police officer.
Yeah.
You start telling me some kind of story and my BS meter starts going off, I slow way down. I mean, it'll take me 10 minutes just to walk back to my car to get you a ticket. So um, there's really no great story. I mean, we always get the hey, I got to poop, or um, I even get people, I'm going to the emergency room. Okay, hold on, I'll have an ambulance right here. I mean, and then all of a sudden their story changes because they're not really going to the emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, if you need to go to the emergency room, park your car, hop in the back. I will drive you. I mean, they don't want to do that either, so they don't need to go that bad. Um,
So tell me a story, if you have one, something that has happened to you, but you've never told anyone before. It could be funny, it could be whatever, something that has happened to you, but you've never told anyone.
I do too, Papa Smurf. Um, I don't think I have any stories that I've never told anyone. Hmm.
No?
I like to talk. And,
Okay. Nothing at all?
no.
Yeah.
People ask me nothing that I can think of. People ask me questions, I tell them. So,
All right. So finish this question. Finish this uh, the sentence. The happiest time in my life was.
it's kind of a trick question. I would say it's pretty much every day that I wake up and have another day. I mean,
Okay.
I enjoy life. I have fun. Um, there's there's good, there's bad, there's the whole gamut. But you can't have good times unless you have bad times.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand that it's a good time unless there's a bad time. So they're
The
all
worst time of my life was.
hmm. Up to now. mm, I would probably say when I got the call that one of my best friends was killed in a motorcycle accident,
Oh,
very young.
wow.
So that's
How old were you?
mm,
We're not good with ages.
30s, 30s. Me
30s.
and Renee were married, so early 30s.
Oh, wow. Was he a child, like from your childhood, from school, that type of friend, or?
I had known him probably about 15 years. Um, there was a group of us guys that we hung out, played games, went canoeing and camping and all that stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of the people in our little group. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
mm,
Sorry. My passion in life is.
mm, probably trying to support my family.
What's your passion? Making sure everyone is okay.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Trying to.
Nice.
I don't believe it's a possible job, but I try.
If someone was to ask your friends, hey, how is Joe? What type of person is he? What do you think your friends would say about you?
Mm, laid back.
Laid back.
Um,
Would you consider yourself an observer?
A lot of times, yeah. I like to get in the conversation, but I also like to uh, sit back and watch people and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm. And what do you learn from people most of the time?
we're all idiots. In some form or fashion, and the human race is very good at showing their weaknesses, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What is your strangest habit?
My strangest habit.
If you have one.
I make weird noises when I'm driving.
Like what kind of weird noises?
Like I go to take off from the red light and I'm like, burr, burr, burr. Renee makes fun of me for doing it all the time. All, all the time I make weird noises, just doing different stuff.
Do you like making people laugh?
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't? I mean,
Yeah.
smiles are good endorphins. So,
They are. They really, really are. Yeah. What would you change about yourself?
mm, in what way? Physically? Or if I could
No,
go back in time and do something different? Or,
I mean, take it the way that you want. What would you change about yourself? What are you more most passionate about that you would change, if there is anything?
mm, I don't know that I would really change anything because I like where I'm at right now. And if I change something, I might not be here. So,
Exactly. Exactly. What makes you angry?
mm, stupidity, I guess. Um, Something that makes me angry is when I when I reach my limitations of being able to do something for somebody or for the family or for myself or whatever. I always feel like you should be able to go a little more, go a little further, or do something a little better. And that kind of makes me angry. And cold weather in Florida pisses me off.
Do you think that it's never good enough?
No. I mean, there's plenty of times I've completed something and I think it's done very well and to the best of my ability.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when you have in your mind, hey, I can do this, and you set this goal and you start going towards it, and then you kind of hit that wall. If it's a physical restraint or a time restraint or a financial restraint or whatever it is, when you hit that wall and you have to back up and try and find another route or whatever, I and then you can't find another route. That's when I feel angry.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I get it.
And when Renee yells at me.
How does it make you feel if someone's disappointed in you?
Bad. I hate it.
You hate it?
Mhm.
So it does bother you?
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm. Would you rather have, not would you rather have, but is it worse for a person to be disappointed in you or to not love you?
Depends on the person.
Depends on the person.
Some people I could care less if they love me, but like pretty much anybody I work with, I don't care if they love me. But disappointing somebody that I work with could be life or death. Renee's love is way more important to me than a disappointment.
Right.
We're humans, we're going to disappoint, but as long as you have that love and that love is strong, you can work through the disappointments.
What's your definition of respect?
Mm-hmm. Just treating somebody the way that either you want to be treated or the way you would want them to treat your most loved one.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. In 10 years, what do you see yourself doing?
Not getting as many haircuts. Probably be bald in 10 years.
Does that scare you?
No.
No.
No,
You don't mind.
I shave my head pretty much bald anyways.
Right?
Just don't have to do it as often then.
Joe, let me ask you this. This I want to know. What was the funnest road trip that you've had with Renee, and what happened?
The funnest road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we've done so many road trips. I mean, they all have their own little things that were a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed. We've taken a few trips to Savannah and that area. Actually, we've taken two, I think. Um, they've been really fun. Um, Getting up there and walking around Savannah and staying in one of the old houses in Savannah and all that. That was a good one, a real good one. And then our road trip to New Orleans, we had a lot of fun with that for the meetup that we had out there. And, road trips out to St. Louis, back where Renee's from, and hanging out with her family, stopping and hitting the little towns and thrift stores and Goodwills and stuff along the way.
Mm-hmm.
They've all been fun, good times.
Is there anything that you found so interesting that you did not sell but you kept for yourself because it was fascinating?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. I can't think of anything right off.
Mm-hmm. Are you a giver or a taker?
I would say a giver.
A giver. Do you rather give? So you rather give than receive?
I think so.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How long is this going to go? Because I got to pee really bad.
All right. So I guess on that note, why don't you
You can
bring a
keep going a
bottle?
little bit. I just wanted to know.
Why don't you bring a bottle with you?
Sorry.
All righty then. That is a new one. Okay, guys. Well, On that note, we're going to end it because Joe has to go pee.
You can just entertain them for like a minute and I can go and come back.
Go ahead. I'll entertain them. I'll say hi to people while you're gone.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. So I didn't get the hint, Papa Smurf. What was the hint? I don't know. Give him a break. Let him go outside and pee. It was great meeting you all. Renee, Pokemon cards. Beat me, my doll. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Susana, I want Rhonda to interview. I shall never be interviewed. Nope. Hey, Lisa. How are you, honey? Mwah. And Eric, my buddy, Eric, how are you? Mwah. I'm going up just to see who came in. Tina's here. Hey, Tina. Hey, honey. Janine is here. Hey, Janine. How are you? Who else? Who else came in? We got Papa Smurf Ron. Hello. Oh, my God. We have Kim in the house. Hey, girl. I heard the news. Super ecstatically stoked. Definitely excited for that one. Who else? Lisa, Kim. I'm going back, Phil. I'm just going back to see who was here. I know Beaumont was here as well. Hey, Beaumont, what's going on? Susan, are you wrenched, honey? I don't know. Let me go up and let me check to see if I can still wrench you. If you're still here, please make... Oh, she is wrenched. Awesome. Thank you. All right, so let's go back down. I set an excuse to get out of the ticket. I have a bad... Glad I have to be... Okay. Bobby! Good morning, Bobby. Mwah. Be careful driving. Oh, okay. Emville. Crazy Emville. Oh, you're back?
I'm back.
You didn't disappear on me?
No.
Oh,
I ain't scared.
I was like, oh my God, am I boring him that he needs to leave? Oh, that's funny. But that I've had some new ones, but that was a good one.
I have a bad pancreas and a weak bladder, so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Bathrooms are frequent to me.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Nope, did not know that. We're going to be wrapping up anyway, so
we can go. I may start shipping while I'm sitting here, but we can keep asking questions.
Hey, if that's what you need to do, that I'm all for it. I don't care. I'm not that person. I do what you need to do. You could have peed right there and I wouldn't even have known.
Well, if I had a bottle, I might have tried it, but.
So, what do you like most about your family? What do you love most about your family?
That we can work through anything.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that we can work through anything. I mean, we've had some pretty rough stuff thrown at us. And
Yeah.
we argue about it, or we cry about it, we pray about it, whatever it is, but we get through it. So
I wasn't going to bring this up, but I think I'm going to. I know Renee had a bout with cancer and she struggled, you know.
Mhm.
How did you deal with it?
Not very good. Um, I really, I, when you hear the word cancer, everything goes to the worst. So I really thought I was going to not have her around very long. So I tried to do everything I could to make her happy, I guess. And that was, in the long run, I didn't do the right things, I don't think, but we made it through, and she's cancer free now, coming up on 5 years.
1, 2, 3.
So it's goes back to working through anything, and we've we've worked through it. We're still working through some of it, so
Mm-hmm.
but we're doing good. We're getting there.
That must have been extremely one of probably the most scariest time for you.
I think I took it worse than she did. So
Really?
I mean, I don't know. She's pretty good at hiding some of her emotions,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I think I am too. And I think that may be one of our downfalls, but or not a downfall, but one of our weaknesses. Um,
Now, did her children come to you and talk to you about it?
um, we went to them and talked to them about it. We've always talked to our kids about pretty much anything pretty openly. So we talked to them about it, and I don't remember them asking a lot of questions about it,
Mm-hmm.
but they had some, and we sat down and talked to them and answered them honestly with them. So
What did you do during that time to pick up her spirits?
I don't know that I did much of anything to pick up her spirits. I was too, and I think that was part of where I lacked. But I was so focused on just trying to take care of her. I mean, there was a lot of surgeries and stuff that required care and just taking care of her. I mean, but it you kind of get wrapped up in that whole aspect of it. What's next? What's coming next? And it,
I know we hear a lot about, I don't mean to cut you off, dear. We hear a lot about the person that's going through it, the individual that has it. I think we don't hear enough about their loved one, the one that's there for them, their rock. How do they feel? How do they deal with it? What what did you do that you think could help someone else that's going through it?
um, the caregiver definitely doesn't get the um, acknowledgement, I guess, that they deserve. The caregiver and loved one is it's a super stressful, hard time because
Mhm.
the the worst that happens is the caregiver's the one left to deal with everything
Mhm.
if the person that you're caring for doesn't make it.
Right.
So that's that's the end result that you're fighting in your mind to not have, and that's just it's a lot of stress. That's a lot of mental drain, I guess, which turns into physical drain. And
Mm.
then on top of that, you're trying to pick up the slack of all the stuff that the person you're caring for used to do,
Mm-hmm.
and take care of them and continue to do what you did. So it's just
And
a it's just an all around mentally and physically exhausting position to be in. And,
emotionally as well.
yeah, and the human mind is, it's evil. I mean, it, you can't control it, and it goes places that you don't want to go with it. So
Especially when you, I think, I don't know if you felt that way, but because you're a caregiver, so you want to make it better and you don't have that power.
mm-hmm.
So it's very, would you
that
say?
that goes back to what I was talking about. You asked me what makes me mad. That that's kind of the examples that I was trying to get to. Is you get to a point where you can't do anymore. You can't figure it out. So
Right. Yeah. And she said, he was my rock, kept me going.
I think she kept me going.
You kept each other going. And
Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah. She couldn't do it without you, or you couldn't do it without her. So,
Oh, she's a pretty tough girl. I think she could have done it without me.
mm.
She can do anything.
So I want to personally say to you, thank you for being there for Renee.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I would uh, I would do it all again if I had to. I don't
We
want
don't want that.
I don't want to, but I'll do
No.
it all again.
No. Wow. So on that note, is there anything that you want to say to us? Anything that you can leave us smarter with, or tell us something about you that we don't know?
Something about me that you don't know.
Right.
Hmm. Pretty much an open book. Um, I don't think there's much about me that people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I try to enjoy life and keep moving forward and bettering myself and my family.
And do you think that those are words we should all live by?
Words to live by: just be nice to one another.
Mm-hmm. Be nice.
Everything else will work itself out.
It will. It
Be
will.
nice. Be respectful.
Joe, thank you so much for being on with me and
Sure.
letting me interview you. I learned a lot about you. Um, I hope everyone else took something away from this. If there's any questions that anyone wants me to ask Joe, please put it in the chat before we leave. Also, as soon as we're done here with Joe, I'm not going to get off, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a link out to Papa Smurf Ron and Tommy, because this is overdue. So Tommy and Papa Smurf Ron, if you're both out there, I'm going to bring you on panel. So I'm going to send you out a link. So make sure that you come on with us, because I need to ask 2 questions, 1 question for each one, as soon as we're done. So what is one of the funniest stops? Janine wants to know, what is one of the funniest stops as a cop?
Funniest stops. Um, I don't know. Probably some of my, probably some of the most entertaining stops to me is when working night shift. We have a lot of very dark parking lots that are very big, and the high school kids like to bring their girlfriends out to the back corners of our parking lots and crawl up in the back seat and start doing their thing. And it's always very entertaining to catch them in the act. Um, when they're under 18, calling their parents at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and asking them if they know where their kid is and what their kid is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then listening to the parent and the kid talk over the telephone while I'm standing there watching is normally very entertaining and pretty fun.
So, have you ever caught anyone doing the nasty, nasty?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
It, it happens a lot. I mean,
really?
it's not just kids; it's adults. I mean, that look like they could afford to go get a hotel room and whatever, or should have a house. And, maybe their wife or husband is at the house, and that's why they're in the car somewhere. But it's it, it's entertaining.
So, Papa Smurf said, question, do you like the flamingos?
I do like flamingos. They're a very interesting looking animal with backwards knees.
They really do. That's kind of crazy. um, let's see. Joe, you know the thrill of the car is all for all ages. Yeah. Yeah.
Not in my parking lot, it's not.
That's the worst thing when you get a cop going on the window and you're like, what? Could you not have waited another 10 minutes?
Oh, I'm paid by the hour. I'll stand there and watch if you want me to. But
Seriously. Oh my God. It's funny. It's like it's like a waiter or a waitress comes to your table and asks you, how's dinner? And your mouth is full. It's
mhm.
like, wait until I'm done. Then come over to me.
I'm still eating it, so it ain't that bad.
Right. Oh my God. Let me see if there was any other questions.
Cha-ching King dropped in.
Who?
The Cha-ching King just jumped in to say hi.
Oh, Cha-ching King. Good morning, everyone. I can't stay. Just dropping to say hello. My post office closes in 30 minutes. I hope everyone has a great day. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you make lots of money, Cha-ching.
With a name like that, you have to.
Better. Better. Let me see if they're smurfed. Not sure.
Where were you a cop? Beverly, I'm still a cop. I work at a college in Gainesville, Florida. Our police department is actually we're the first college in Florida to have its own full blown police department. Without security, we're 24/7, 365 days a year. If the college is closed, we're still there. We work Christmas and New Year's and Easter and all the holidays, just like the city police or the county police or county deputies. Um, our department's actually won a lot of awards for our
Mhm.
style of policing, community policing, and we've helped other colleges around the state start their own police department. So
Oh, wow. Now, is the college a huge college where you work at?
it's it's a large college. It's not a the property of the main campus is probably um, it's probably about 2 square miles. We have
Okay.
about 28 buildings, um, some up to 4 stories tall. We do not have on campus housing, so we don't have dorms or anything like that.
Oh, wow, you don't.
No, but we do have um, 6 satellite campuses that are in surrounding towns, and we're also responsible for those.
Now,
And
Joe, was that your first job coming out of the academy?
mhm,
Oh, it was. So you've been there the whole time.
yep,
Oh,
I like it there.
so you weren't like a city cop or anything like that.
No, we train with the Gainesville Police Department and the Alachua County Sheriff's Department a lot, because we all work very closely together. We have mutual aid agreements, and um, we train together so that when we are on scene together, we know how each other's going to react. We know what each other's department's policies are, and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It allows you to build a relationship with people that you don't work with every day, and relationships are important in this business. And so,
Right. Yeah. So Janine just said, so why a force and not security?
if you go back and look over the history of stuff like active shooters, um, mass shootings, a lot of them happen. Well, they all happen in populated areas, or there'd be nobody to shoot. But a lot of them happen at learning institutions, um, and security security has its place in and its purpose,
Hmm.
but the the training and the response that security can provide to the training and response that police is going to provide is it's not good enough to respond to calls like that, to active shooters, to mass disturbances. Um, College campuses are they're a place where people go to protest. They're a place where people go to express themselves. And anytime somebody is expressing themselves or their view, there's somebody with the exact opposite view, and that creates issues. Um, and security doesn't have they're not granted the ability by the state to have arrest powers. Police officers are the only people in the country that can take your constitutional rights away from you, just like that. I mean, um, we can basically take you and put you in a cell, and that's it until you go through the process of getting out of that cell. So,
I can tell you, on my end, if I'm stopped by a police officer, every nerve and every thing about my body goes absolutely limp. I feel like I want to throw up. I feel like I'm going to faint. I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack because of the fact that when you're stopped, your life, I feel like my life is no longer mine anymore. It's holding in this person's hands because they, for whatever reason, can take me away and put me in jail, and then I have to be with Big Bertha, or they. It scares the shit out of me. I love cops, but I'm so scared of them. Like literally terrified.
it's a it's a huge responsibility, the power that a police officer or a sheriff's deputy has. And the sad thing is the stories you see on TV. Um, the news the news finds the bad apple because it
Mhm.
makes for good views.
Right.
I mean, just like all these YouTube creators that are in the chat and all that stuff, you got to find something that people are going to be like, oh, I got to see this. So that's why the bad stuff that police do, because they were poorly trained, they didn't take the job seriously, they shouldn't have been a police officer to begin with, whatever the reason is, that's such a small percentage of cops that are out there, but that's the perception that's out there because that's what you see on TV in the
Hmm.
news all the time. So,
Wow. So Janine just said, do you deal with the new wave of A1 auditors, and how do you feel about them?
I don't know what an A1 auditor is.
I don't either. I have no idea. Cops hate when you teach kids to be afraid of them.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest pet peeves is when I walk into a store and a kid's being a kid, wanting a candy bar or a toy or whatever, and parent says, straighten up or I'll have him arrest you. I normally pull a sticker out of my little badge sticker out of my pocket and say, hey, here, now you have arrest powers. Go arrest her. So,
She said First Amendment auditors.
oh, the freedom of speech people around campus. Um, they're they're not that hard to. I don't really deal with them a lot. We allow them to be in a college campus. We allow them to um, take say whatever they want. We have places set up around campus,
Mm-hmm.
free speech zones. Um, One of the things around campus is that there's a state law in Florida. It's called disturbing a school function.
Mm-hmm.
So if you disturb a school function, if you're creating a scenario where the college cannot a class cannot go as they normally would, or there's something going on in our big open field where people are have set up to talk about the school clubs or whatever it is, and you come in and you say you're exercising your right to free speech, but you're disrupting that function of the college that the college has set up to provide for the students of the college, then we can remove you based on that and arrest you based on that. Not that we're stopping you from your right to free speech, but that your actions are interfering with the functions of the college. So that's kind of a, I don't like to say workaround, but that's how we deal with a lot of that. I mean, we'll explain to people, hey, you have something you want to say, you're wanting to spout about this view or whatever, this is the area you can do it in. And
Mm-hmm.
if people want to come listen, they come listen. So, and most of the time, they they heed the warning and they go to the proper area and they do their thing. I mean,
Yeah.
and then sometimes they don't, and we deal with it. So,
Yeah.
did you see my first comment?
She said, I taught CTI in Florida to the
Oh,
first 1,200 cops in our state.
CIT. Our whole CIT is a crisis intervention team.
Mhm.
Our whole department, we're required to all be CIT certified. It's a CIT is a 40-hour course where you learn to de-escalate and deal with people with mental illnesses. It's a really good course, and where we're at, the people that put on the CIT class there, they have these actors. The last couple of days of the class is all physical scenario based. They have these actors that come in and do uh, the scenarios for us and act out a plethora of roles, from having mental handicaps or mental illnesses to um, being abused or sexually assaulted and stuff like that. These people will scare you, and they're just acting. I mean, they are good at their job. That is a great course. I don't know where they teach people to do this course, but it's a really good course. And people say, you see on TV all the time that cops aren't trained to deal with people with special needs or people with mental illness or people in crisis of some sort. And we are. We just have to, there's a line that we have to draw too, because we want to go home at night. So,
Absolutely.
so yeah, we may start out trying to de-escalate the situation and taking our time and trying to understand everything that's going on.
Mhm.
But there also becomes a point where the situation is at a crossroads of, hey, it's fixing to get really bad, or I need to do something that is not going to look really good, but it's better than the alternative.
Mhm.
So putting people on the ground and putting them in handcuffs, it looks really bad, but it's been proven that quick and deliberate looks bad, but it creates less injury.
Well,
Just because if you try to slowly take somebody to the ground and allow them to go down on their knees and then lay down and all that, that's too much time for them to decide they're going to fight. And then that's when the injuries start happening.
yeah.
So,
So right now, Papa Smurf Ron just popped in, and there was a couple of questions. Not a couple. One question that I wanted to ask him from last week, and we're waiting on Tommy, the bargain effect. So Tommy, the bargain effect.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's who I eat donuts against.
Huh?
Isn't that who I eat donuts against?
Yes.
All right. I'm not eating any more donuts against him. That's for sure.
No, no more donuts. No more donuts. No, no. So while we're waiting, then I can ask you, Papa Ron. We had a conversation in the green room last week after the show.
Yeah.
And you were talking to me about some stuff. And do you mind if I say, oh, Tommy's here? There's Tommy. I can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me now?
Can hear you now.
All right.
All
Good
right.
morning, Tom. Good morning, Joe.
Morning. Good morning.
So last week, and I'm going to start with Papa Ron because I'm a week overdue with Tommy. A week overdue. So Papa Ron, last week we were talking about in the green room about you and your son.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Have you reached out or have you done anything to open that communication up again?
I tried, and to no avail.
To no
The,
avail.
yeah, he's very strong-minded. He's very, kind of like me, I guess. A little stubborn in ways, but it's all in his ballpark. It's up to him to decide that, hey, I'm going to talk to Dad.
Did you text him or what did you do? How was the
He changed his number and stuff. And the thing is, I had a discussion with my ex, and I said, hey, I'd really like to talk to him. And she says, if I bring you up to him, he, gets very upset and says, I'll stop talking to you if you, bring it. That's how strong he feels, and I don't even know why he feels that way.
Okay. So you reached out was to your ex-wife. You didn't reach out to him personally.
He changed his phone number. I don't have his address. There's no way for me to physically get him message to him.
Okay. What about an email? No.
Nope. Oh, I mean, you would not believe the texts I have in the phone that I sent him and thought that he was seeing them, but he wasn't, because supposedly he changed his number. Maybe he didn't change his number. Maybe he is getting them, but he's just But I've been told that he changed his number and they're going to Never Neverland.
Okay. So the good thing is if he didn't change his number, he's getting all of those.
Right. And he's seeing how I truly feel. Yes.
Yeah. And you're being persistent trying to talk to him.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm proud of you.
And and thank you. And that's what, it breaks my heart, but what can I do? I mean, you can only do what you can do. And and I'm proud of, Joe, because, just like my first wife had 3 kids and I loved them and raised them, until we split. But, kids are kids. They don't, yes, when they're biologically yours, it's a little, but kids need love, affection, and parents. And I commend you, Joe.
Thank you.
Tommy.
Yes.
How are you?
I am good.
So it's been 2 weeks. I know I was supposed to talk to you last Monday. I did not. I apologize for that. So
that's all right. We've been busy too, so.
Oh, good. So I had put out a challenge for you, Tommy, about you getting up in the morning and getting dressed and not being in your robe. How did that work out for you?
Well, out of the first 5 days of Monday through Friday, I think I skipped. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday that I didn't get dressed.
Okay.
But I made up for it because I did get dressed on Saturday and Sunday right away when I woke up.
And how did that make you feel throughout the day?
I don't know. It didn't really overall change anything. I mean, I didn't feel, like I'm way more motivated or anything. It didn't make me feel like, I don't know. It just, there wasn't really, okay, I'm dressed instead of wearing my robe. It took me an extra 2 minutes to get dressed. I mean, so now some days I get up and I get dressed, and some days I get up and I throw my robe on for a couple hours.
I'm sure the lady at McDonald's appreciates it when you get dressed.
Oh, yeah. Well, in the summertime when it's nice out, I go outside. I sit in my robe outside, drink my coffee.
Yes, he does.
I help. To me, it's just I hate, like in the summertime I get dressed right away. You know, because I wear short. I hate pants. I hate sweaters. It's just makes me feel so bulky and actually more uncomfortable. That's why I like the robe because everything's just open and airing out, and it's more comfortable.
Oh my God. That's funny.
I almost put this decal wrong because of that.
So I've been trying to think for Joe, like something that he could do for a week different, but I don't know. What can Joe do for a week that's different?
Not eat any donuts for a
Oh,
whole
Well,
week.
now here's a good one. Okay. Somebody's not doing anything really, really bad, but Joe has to pull him over and he walks up and he says, "It's your lucky day. Susana told me not to give you a ticket."
So that's not hard for me. So I've been a cop for almost 10 years. Do you know how many speeding tickets I have given?
how many? 3?
3.
Oh,
I've pulled over thousands of people. I've given 3 speeding tickets. So I try to educate. I try to cut a break, like I was saying earlier about having your insurance card or your registration or your driver's license, having that
right.
readily available. Given the lesser ticket, times are hard.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
pulling somebody over and spending $250 of their money right there on the side of the road for them that they weren't planning on spending,
Mm-hmm.
that's, in this day and time, that's a blow to some of these people.
So I
And
guess there's a story behind this. Renee is saying, what was your most memorable event as a police officer? So I guess there's a story.
I saw that and I don't know which event she's talking about. I have a lot of pretty memorable events that I really try to block the bad calls, and I like to thrive off of the good calls. Some of the most recent calls that I've had that were really good. Um, I was sitting in a parking lot and an old man walked up to me um, and asked me if I could help him, and he asked me to help him get to Santa Fe College, which is where I work. It's where I was sitting. I'm like, you're at the college. Where are you trying to get to? And it was cold out. It was almost nighttime. It was getting dark, and I noticed that he had like some weeds in his hair, some stuff on his clothes that was like he had been walking through the brush and stuff. So I started talking to him for a little bit, and he didn't. Everything wasn't there. He was. I could tell he was had some sort of dementia or something was starting to set in. So I asked him for an ID. He didn't have an ID. Luckily, he was able to give me his name and his address, and it was a current address, because a lot of times dealing with people with dementia, if you ask them for their address, you get like their childhood address,
Right.
or something like that. And I was able to talk to him for a little bit and put him in the car and drive him back home, where his wife was going crazy having people looking for him because he had just wandered off. And he had actually walked probably about 3 miles. And I don't know how much of it he went through the woods or whatever, but he told me all he was wanting to do was hang out with the kids at the college. I mean, he was thinking that he was of that age
Back
again.
in college. Yeah.
And then halfway back to his house, he started telling me about he was trying to get back to the airport and wanting to come to find out when I got him back home, he was a pilot at one point, and so he was trying to get back to his plane to go fly and
Oh
all
my
this kind of
God.
stuff. So it was a pretty touching one.
Yeah.
And then not too long ago, we dealt with a guy. The opposite shift that I work on, they dealt with a guy, and they wound up having the Baker acting. He had jumped the fence and ran across the interstate because he said he was too scared to go across the bridge. He didn't. He was off of his medications. He told him that his name was Lucifer and his dad wrote the Bible. All kinds of just weird stuff. But anyways, they wound up Baker acting him, and then he went through his treatment and everything. They got his medications all settled and everything. But when they let him go, they just, here's the front door. I mean, it's, if you can call somebody to come get you, great. If you can't, not their responsibility. So
That's a shame too.
it is a shame. But the very next day, the next morning after he was released, we found him sleeping on one of the benches on college. Still had the blanket that the hospital had given him and all of that stuff. And so we got out and we were talking with him. And he was one of the officers that was with me was also part of the first call with him where they Baker acted him. So
Now, can I ask a question? When you say Baker acted him, I've never heard that term.
it's a 72-hour mental health evaluation by a physician. So basically, if we deem he can't take care of himself or he is going to cause harm to himself or others, instead of taking him to jail, maybe they haven't committed a crime, maybe they have, but instead of jail, we can take them to the hospital, and they will admit him into the hospital, into the facility, and provide counselors, medical attention, all of this to try and figure out what's going on. And
Now, what didn't it used to have a different name?
it has different names all over the country. I mean,
Okay, so like every state might call it something different. Okay,
right. It's basically a mental health evaluation hold. So it's so that the state can determine if you are a threat to
danger.
others because of your mental health, and then if you are, they try to come up with a way to
make sure they don't hurt themselves or hurting somebody else. Figure out whether they need to put him in the hospital, maybe, or him or her. Yeah,
or
okay.
facility, or find a caregiver for them, or whatever it is. But anyways, this guy, they got his medications all straightened out and everything, and they let him go. We found him sleeping on a bench at the college the next morning. So we went up and we were talking with him, and he was with it. I mean, we had a good conversation with him, and I asked him, I was like, hey, what can we do to help you? Because we're in a cycle now. You show up here, we send you back, they let you go, you're going to show up here again. So we're in a cycle. We need to break the cycle. So I asked him what I could do to help him, and he said he just wants to get back to his family. I'm like, okay, where is that? And he's like, South Carolina. So we have a facility in Gainesville that helps the homeless population. And so we contacted them, and they said that if there's somebody up there that would receive him, that they would provide him with a bus ticket and they would get him up there. So I took him back to the station. We made contact with his grandmother up there. She said, yes, I'll pick him up from the bus station, all of that. So I then went, I asked him if he had eaten or drank anything lately, and he hadn't. So we went to the food bank on our campus, got him some food, some cereal, and some Sprite and juice, and made him a little bag. And I took him over to this other facility, dropped him off. They contacted his grandmother and provided him with a bus ticket and sent him home. So breaking the cycle, I mean, that's the kind of policing that I enjoy, that I like to do. I'm not the cop that looks for a door to kick down or a fight. I'm not looking for a fight. I'm looking to create a better environment for everybody. If that's taking somebody to jail, it's taking them to jail. But also, if it's helping them find the resources to find help for themselves, I'll go the extra mile.
Well, I think all cops should be like you.
There's a place for all cops shouldn't be like me. There's a place for people like SWAT team and bomb people.
Even bond. No, I understand that, but they should be more. They should be understanding and looking for a better outcome. And I'm not saying everyone is that way. That's not what I'm saying. It's just you can tell some of them are on I'm gonna say it, on like a high trip, like
right.
You know, and being a police officer, I think it should be someone that is going to help someone in certain circumstances. I understand that there's circumstances that, you know, that's out of the scenario, and you have to be full on guard there. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I just want everyone to have some compassion.
There's definitely cops out there that are on power trips, that are adrenaline junkies. And that's in every profession. I mean, it's the type of adrenaline is different, but you look at people that play the stock market, they're chasing that adrenaline high, making that money. That's their adrenaline. That's their button. It's what I think makes a great cop is to be able to reel that need for that adrenaline in. Enjoy it when it happens, but don't seek it out.
Yeah.
So
Tommy.
Oh, sorry.
Tommy, you're muted.
All right, I lost my window because I'm working in the background here, and I couldn't find the StreamYard window. All right,
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you both the question, and then we're going to have to close this down because I need to go. I have an appointment. Have you watched the interview back? Your interview back?
Mine? No.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I was there, so I didn't think I did.
I know you were there, but I just wanted to know, Ron, have you watched your interview back?
Yes.
And how do you think it went? Were you surprised at yourself, or?
I can't believe you let some asshole, a butthead like that, get up there on your show. No, I'm kidding. I mean, you got to realize from the time that you're young, you hear your voice, you say, that's not me. And then I watched the interview. That's not me. Because what we perceive in our head that we sound like and are is totally different when you look. You know, there's some actors that will never, ever watch their movies or anything because, you know, you don't want to see the real person. So I guess, but I watched it and, you know, and enjoyed all the, you know, the love and support in the chat and, you know, being on your show and all the questions and, you know, everything. I mean, I'd never done anything like that on YouTube or anything. I used to do it back in the day when I had my business. I do commercials or, but not, it's been years.
Now,
So I
Joe,
enjoyed it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ron.
I enjoyed it. I loved having, I care for you, and I love, your interviews, and you have a way of getting people to talk about things they normally wouldn't talk about. So
thank you. Joe, will you rewatch this? You
No.
won't.
I rarely watch myself on video.
Okay. I just didn't know if anybody, like Tommy, if you rewatched it and thought of something like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that, or wow, I didn't, that was all.
It's out there, so
yep.
no reeling it back in now.
Right.
On that note,
Yeah.
now I'm going to say bye to everyone. I hope everyone has a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to everyone and hit your reminders for different shows. Joe, do you have anything coming up in the near future that you want to shout out?
Just subscribe and hit the bell notification on our channel, because Renee's dropping videos 2, 3, 4 a week.
And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because we're trying to get them to, wait a minute, over 1,000. Yes, we try to get them to 1,000. Tommy, what do you have going on this week?
I don't know. Everything I do YouTube wise is totally random. It's just kind of me and Des look at each other and like, hey, you want to go live? Yeah, I feel like painting. Okay, I'll do some work. Let's go live. Boom. So same thing, if you're in, and it's always random topics. It's hardly ever to do with reselling. And so it'd be the same thing. If you'd be interested in what we're talking about or doing, you just have to be subscribed with a notification, because it is very random. I hardly ever even know, like, oh, we're going to go live tomorrow, so I'll create a thumbnail today so everybody knows. It's just, no, we're live.
Awesome. Papa Ron, anything in the upcoming future here?
I am doing my best. I've made calls. I've, got emails and going down the list, trying to get somebody, get some help and, and everything here. I had medication I needed. So I drugged my butt out and took my daughter. My daughter went in to get it. They said, well, your insurance was stopped on January 1st. I said, what do you mean? Stop. I said, it wasn't stopped. It just merged with Cigna, so there's no problem. Same thing. Well, they wouldn't give it to me. So I had to come back home. I had to make calls. I finally, get it all sorted, and then went back and made another trip to get it. It's little things like that. And like Joe said, you get really upset by the way things are going now. It used to be easier or simpler to do daily tasks or do daily things. And now it has to be 4 different, things that you have to do one.
Yeah, definitely.
So, now, can I ask Joe a real quick question?
Yeah.
The temp, you've heard the saying, a temperature of the room or whatever. When you pull somebody over, can you almost tell, what kind of mood they're in and everything when you walk up, and how they say, hi, or, what did I do? Or
90% of the time, I can tell how that traffic stop's going to go just by their physical reaction when I approach the car.
Is it a lot different now than it used to be?
Yes, we get.
Okay, that's all. I just see. Okay, that was all I wanted to ask, because I can imagine it's tougher for you and things as well.
Yeah, we definitely. It's definitely coming to a time where you have to be very aware of everything, because people these days that have no business on your traffic stop or no dealings with your traffic stop will try to interject themselves into your traffic stop.
Right.
I mean, so it's not just you dealing with the person in the car in front of you. Now you're dealing with everybody around you at the same time. You're having to keep an eye on all of that. And that that's probably the biggest change over the last few years. Is everybody wants to pull out their cameras and start as soon as the lights come on. Everybody's
Yep.
putting cameras on you.
Yeah.
So you have to do it all right and try and make it look as good as you can.
And you don't need to have that worry, or have to be thinking. You shouldn't be having to be thinking about that while you're doing your job.
Right. So
I understand. I appreciate that. I was just curious, how the temperatures changed over the last year or so.
So Countess April will be having her auction back tonight at 6:30 p.m. Make sure you go over, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for that, a reminder. Also, we have today, I believe at 2, Lori Story will be on with her auction, and also Tania, which will be selling it jewelry out of the box. She'll be on at 5 with Rhonda and a special guest. I'm not there because guess why? They fired me.
you got fired.
I got fired.
Oh my God. Did they
And
give you a notice?
They're going to tell you the reason why they fired me tonight at 5 o'clock. Yeah.
Did you get notice, Susana?
No, I didn't. I didn't even get a damn pink slip.
No severance? Oh my gosh.
Nothing. I'm serious. I got fired. They're on at 5 o'clock tonight. So make sure you go over there at 5 to figure out why I got fired. And on that note, everyone, I hope you all have a great day and a great weekend. Mwah, and see you later. Bye.
Everybody have a great day.
Oh, wait a minute. Did I say stars and back to everyone? An angel tickle toes.